Welcome to Literary License Podcast retrospective of Batman, the animated series, and the new adventures of Batman and Robin, where we explore 4 episodes from the classic 90s television show.
Welcome to the Literary License Podcast. This is Batman the Animated Week. We'll be discussing 4 episodes of Batman. And before we get started, let's find out who's with us. We got Vicky Ray with us. Hello, Vicky.
Hi, everybody.
And we got Sean Stefan with us. Hello, Sean.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Joe Randazzo. Unfortunately, he's not here due to work permits. And I'm your host, Keith Shago. And before we get started, let's find out what we've been up to. Starting with you, Sean. What have you been up to since last time we spoke to you?
Well, aside from working, I got a new PC, so I got this whole new setup, a new microphone, new camera, nice
I was going to say you look more handsome.
More stationary.
Oh,
yeah.
Really are you able to hook up your games unit to it as well?
I did. I have my Series X hooked up to the monitor. I got this nice 50-inch widescreen.
Oh my God, we'll never see you again.
It allows Joe to work because he's telescribing all the movies for Joe Bob now, so it allows him to stay active in that, and I can get my gaming in, I can get my freedom, my little peace and quiet. I can watch some movies, so it's nice, and also it gave me an excuse to clean up my room, which is something I've been neaning to do for almost a year.
Don't forget your Pornhub.
Thankfully, thank you for reminding me.
He's got that Pornhub. We know.
Just make sure I close that window right there. Say no, just kidding.
The panic button. You got a panic button.
Well, the problem with Pornhub nowadays, though, now that you have that screen, now you're gonna have to specially search for porn in HD.
That's the thing. You have to hit the HD button, the 4K button. You gotta make sure you have the unlimited bandwidth.
Don't look at your porn with Blu-ray.
Everything's just gonna look like 70s porn if you're not careful. So
just pro tip to
Blu-ray.
Just pro tip to all listeners: just make sure to delete your history every 15 minutes. Just do that, just
Especially
in case anyone walks in when you die. Yes.
Especially if you're married.
And so, what games are you playing at the moment?
At the moment, I'm getting caught up on. I always had the first game I would do if I got a high-end PC was Grand Theft Auto 4 and get a whole bunch of mods for it and just go have fun. So I'm diving back into that world. And it's weird listening to the political radio from that era and seeing how much of it was supposed to be just like this wild, how accurate some of it turned out to be. And you're like, oh, fuck. But aside from that, it's a great, great game. And it's a great trip down memory lane. I'm playing that. I'm playing Hitman. Playing all the banned games that I can't play on all the ones that I shouldn't be playing. Played this horrible one called Hatred that I heard everyone says, and it's play like a mass shooter. It's honestly, I played it for like 5 minutes. I'm like, and I'm done.
Boring.
Well, it's boring. And you feel dirty playing it. And then Redneck Rampage.
Why would anybody make
going back
and
playing a game from when I was a child?
Shooter? Why would they have a video game of a mass shooter?
I don't fucking know. It's
Who would buy that?
It's called Hatred. It's honestly edgelord. It's a total edgelord game. Is the best way I can describe it.
I don't know. I played. I used not Grand Theft Auto.
Postal.
I played all the Grand Theft Auto. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 3 Vice City.
Carmageddon.
Picking up hookers, having sex, killing them, getting my money back, getting some help.
You always play those games. And stuff
I never knew about those cheats because I was ignorant 20 years ago and I was buying my boys those fucking games. And I didn't know about the things you could unlock and get the hookers and the blood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, they were unlockable. That was just normal.
That was one of there was one thing with the hot coffee in San Andreas where the initial release of the game, I was lucky enough to get one of the first copies before they realized, oh, fuck, pull these. Where you got to a certain part of the game where you could go to visit your girlfriend and she'd invite you in for hot coffee and it would cut to a sex scene mini game.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God, how funny! I didn't know this shit.
And they immediately pulled it from shelves, and because it was getting an adults only rating, because they didn't realize it was in there.
How do you police something like that?
Well, they did by pulling it from the shelves, and they had to re-release it. It was this whole controversy.
I guess I just don't think
it's still in certain versions of the game.
I just don't think that's such. I wouldn't like it if Ashley
I remember it being in my Xbox version.
That it was in my PlayStation version because I got an early enough copy.
Yeah.
But in certain versions they had to remove it in the digital version that was re-released and stuff like that.
From what I remember, because I remember doing it, and I don't remember it being that. But then again, I'm an adult, so maybe.
Well, that's the thing.
But then again,
I was like 19 when that game came out, so I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Well, my boys were they were young, and they loved that shit. They just ate it up.
But then again, as I look at it, I mean, when it came out here, it was rated 18, which is you have to be 18 or above to buy it.
18 here,
and the parents, and
it was 17, yeah.
Yeah, so if parents are buying their kids this game, then it's the parents' fault, not the game's fault.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, it's absolutely my fault because I'd rather have them playing video games being out.
Well, this one, I mean, all you need to do is just click, "Are you over 18? What's your birth date?" And now you can buy it. And this game was $6, and it's a piece of crap. So don't buy it.
How much is it now?
It was like $6. That's the thing.
I'm wondering how much is the
Grand Theft Auto 5 game. Grand Theft Auto 4 was $5 when I bought it on PC.
I bought it for $65.
That's the thing. When you console games start now at $70 for
and they're
next
just
generation.
Downloadable. You're not even getting the disc anymore, are you?
They have limited physical releases of certain games.
Would you guys rather have the physical as opposed to the downloadable?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
On certain games, yeah, but for collectibles, like older games, yes.
Well, that's what I'm figuring.
But for newer games, there's no point because when you buy the physical discs, all it is just a download code.
It's just
then it downloads the game onto your console, and you have to have the physical disc
in
console
essence,
if you want to play.
You're not camping out at Best Buy for these great games anymore.
No, because the thing is that what I like. I mean, to be honest, I prefer the download thing because at the end of the day. There have been times where I bought the disc, and then all of a sudden it's like you're in the game, and all of a sudden the disc doesn't work, or the disc was skipped, or something like that. Where the download thing, downloaded now since things are downloaded, the quality and the length of them are a lot bigger than this. So the thing is, you are getting your money's worth. Like you might pay 60 to 70 quid, depending on the game,
but it's worth it.
But the thing is, you're looking at 40 to 60 hours worth of gameplay.
Okay.
And if you if you buy a Blu-ray or DVD, which is 20 quid, that's an hour and a half maybe. So
I see what you're saying.
You're getting more bang for your buck for
but you can still give somebody with that and they just download it.
Well, I'll give you an example. Like I missed out on the sale, so I'm waiting for it next time it goes on sale. Phantom Liberty and Cyberpunk, which is the expansion to Cyberpunk 2077, and Cyberpunk itself is $100 on PC.
Right.
Because you get both versions of the game. You get the game and the DLC. Combined, you got about 120 hours worth of content between them. I put in at least 110 the initial time in my playthrough before the Phantom Liberty came out. I put in an additional 30 hours with Phantom Liberty because it is that good of a game. And it just keeps going and going, and it's so expansive. And especially with what this rig that I got now, I can only imagine what it will look like when I get it on this. But it's just one of those games where you're getting your bang for your buck. And
I didn't understand
and
that.
If you divide it by hours, to take the money and divide it by how many hours of gameplay is, you're looking at about maybe £1 or $2.
Yeah.
So if you take it to that extreme, is that's cheap. What else is going to cost you £1 an hour?
Yeah. I don't fully subscribe to the $1 an hour because sometimes you do get some gems in there, and sometimes you pay your money was worth, and you get
you get things like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry, where to get the full use of the game, you're looking for fucking stupid shit all the time. That doesn't anything, just so you can get 100% completion. But something
I love Ubisoft,
Red Dead Redemption is well worth the price.
That's
Red Dead Redemption 2. Grand Theft always been worth the price.
That's why I will continue to be that idiot that buys Grand Theft Auto on every console that I own. I can't help it. I love that game. It is the greatest game.
You can't transfer it to another console?
You can, your online code. Unfortunately, because I transferred it from Xbox 360 to Xbox One to PS5, I can't transfer my online game anymore, so I can't transfer it over to PC. So if I want to start, it will be a completely new thing. So at that point, I am done with GTA Online. I am not starting from scratch. It is a complete hellscape. If you've played it recently,
The hellscape.
you know what I'm talking. Oh no, for new players, I mean, there's so much you could do. There's so many modders. There's so many people that could just like make it rain helicopters, depending on the lobby you're in. There's so many advanced weapons.
Oh, there's so much shit going on.
Well, also the currency, the way that everything is meted out, you have to do so much, and the weapons like. I could earn maybe $1 million over the course of 6 hours worth of grinding, maybe 6 to 7 hours worth of grinding. And in that $1 million, I could probably get a supercar, maybe a house, maybe with no extras, maybe halfway to getting one of the more nicer upgrades. I could upgrade a car. You blow through it so quickly that you can't really do much of anything with it. And then they get the licensed cars, the one that looks like Kit from Knight Rider, the one that looks like the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
The DeLorean. The steel car.
It kind of does have a Ready Player One quality to it. It's like I live in my character lives in Nakatomi Plaza or Fox Tower or whatever it is in real life. I live in a penthouse there. I drive the Batmobile. I like it's ridiculous like in terms of like what you could do in that game and what you could buy if you want to. I don't want to start from scratch. I don't want to work my way up to that. I have like $50 million in my one account. I'm good. So, but the only other thing I've been doing since I've had my free time and Joe's been working in the living room, I watched Echo, the new Marvel show that just came out, and they decided
I was going to, but everybody keeps scaring me off from Marvel. Is it any good?
Okay, so here's the honest truth. It's not bad. It's just simply not bad. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. The first episode actually is great. I liked it a lot. They did something that Marvel has a problem doing. They actually did it correctly. They filled you in with everything that you need to know. They filled you in. That's good. I need to so that you don't have to watch Hawkeye. And if you don't know the character, they filmed some new scenes and mixed it in with some of the stuff from Hawkeye. Within 22 minutes, you're all caught up, and then it jumps 5 months later, and we pick up our story from there. And so I'm like, okay, I don't need to watch anything. I don't need to I kind of know where I'm at. I know what's going on. She is okay in the role. I think she's actually pretty good in the role. I think Eloika Cox, I think is her name. Really decent as Echo. My issue with the show is it feels like it was a longer show that was cut down to 5 episodes.
Probably was.
It was. And that's the reason why they dumped it all at once. The 4th episode in particular, there's one long take where it's a POV shot where she's riding a motorcycle towards the camera with a motorcycle helmet. And it's like a montage of scenes of stuff we've either seen or haven't seen or alternate takes of stuff that we've seen. And I'm like, why does this feel like this was like all in another episode? And they just chopped it all up and decided we needed to get through. We needed to get through
I hate it when they do that. It's almost like they realize, and then halfway through production, boy, we got to wrap this up.
Well, there's like, they didn't really delve into the history.
Was it a show that got caught up in the writer's strike, and maybe that's why? And they would need.
Well, that honestly, 100%, I do believe that was the issue. Is they couldn't do reshoots. They couldn't do reshoots. They couldn't do rewrites. They couldn't do anything else. They had what they had.
That's probably what it was.
The rumor was
we need to get it out because we got programming that needs.
The rumor was that they had issues on set. Mainly, it was very difficult for her to adapt to what she needs to, because I mean, it is difficult to act because everybody was the crew, the cast, everyone learned sign language to make it work. And from what I understand, it was a difficult process for her to emote along with the sign language at certain things. I don't know how much of that. This is the thing with the Marvel is their secrets are tighter than Fort Knox at this point. You don't know how much is bullshit hearsay, how much is accuracy. All I know is that I have a friend who
how much of it is just excuse.
Yeah, how much is excuse. I always look at it like this. Back in the day, you had the Phantom Menace. When that movie came out on DVD, you got this beautiful 1.5-hour documentary where by the end of it, George Lucas has gone through the 5 stages of grief after the initial screening, and it may have gone a little too far in a few places. And you don't get that level of Menace, though. Well, that's the thing. Well, my point is, you don't get that level of honesty from a Disney behind the scenes documentary.
Gotcha.
It's all you get the shine over everything, you get the polish, everything is perfect. It's little tight, little snaps, little snippets. You don't get the real grit of him saying, "Who gives no Yoda's blood should be this color." You know, you don't get that in this thing. So, but I don't know. So I don't know how much of it is bullshit. What I do know is my buddy worked on the show. And he did say, look, because I made a post on my Facebook saying, I love Daredevil season 3. I think that's the best thing Marvel.
I saw a lot of people complaining about it on the forums.
Well, the season 3 of Daredevil or this show?
They were really upset about, they said they were talking about Daredevil. They were upset about Daredevil.
The thing about Daredevil, he's in the first episode. I'll be quick about it. But the thing about the show, Daredevil season 3 is my favorite thing they've ever done because I think it's gritty, it's raw, and it also was untethered from the stupid Defender storyline because it was the only thing that was posted. They kind of shit, we don't know what happened to her. So that was the end of it. And then they kind of told a singular story. I love Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. I absolutely love him in this role.
He's a great actor. He's one of those.
He is fantastic. And he is, if you want to look at his past, he's kind of playing Gomer Pyle if he had his scruples and he was sadistic and methodical. And that's the kind of the reason why I love him in this role. He's fantastic. But he's not playing that. The other thing about the show in the marketing of it, they made it canon. They made Daredevil and the Defenders, they changed up the marketing and they acknowledged, no, this is the past of Kingpin. His past happened on this show. We're going to move everything that happened on Netflix actually happened in Marvel canon.
Wow.
Which combined with the rewrites and the fact that they're doing a day one reshoots and rewrites on Daredevil gives me a lot of hope that maybe they will continue on where they left off because they realize, look, we have this product that people love. It's drawing us. It's one of the few things on Disney Plus that is getting consistent good ratings that we've brought over, that everyone is loving. And to the point, Feige is saying, no, we consider Daredevil one of our most important cogs in the next stage of the Avengers. We consider Daredevil the main piece. We're by the end of Echo, you're set up for Daredevil Born Again and possibly Spider-Man 4. With where they're going with Vincent D'Onofrio. It's exciting for me because this is something that just the kid in me has always wanted to see is possibly the post-credit thing gives you a lot of high hopes. Yeah. But in terms of the overall show, what my buddy told me is that if you liked Daredevil, we're trying our best to pay homage and tribute to that. As far as that goes, they did a very good job. I thought it's nowhere near the level of violence, because that's the other thing. They've marketed the show around the big violence aspect. It's the first TVMA anything that Marvel has done. Well, yeah, Marvel Studios, the first TVMA.
Oh,
thing.
Okay, gotcha.
And
I remember the first Daredevil. I didn't think it was that.
Well, this is the first thing that Disney Marvel is marketing is that it is nowhere near the level of Netflix. You're not going to get
the level of Netflix.
Slamming. You're not going to get Kingpin slamming the head into the door or with the car door until there is no head. You're not getting that. It is. But it is still brutal, and it's PG-13 to light R levels of violence, which you'll probably get more in Daredevil or Deadpool 3. Baby steps into the violent pool. Right. That's the way I'll look at it. Baby got to step into the violent pool. You can't just dive right in. So, check it out. It's only 5 episodes.
It's marketed itself to being family films, and so now to break that. Well, they have. If you look at all, from Spider-Man onward, even the X-Men are quite family-oriented films, really. So when you get something like, Deadpool or something like that, where they're a lot more edgier, they can't just throw you into that because. And you got to remember, there are a lot of parents out there who choose to take their kids to a Marvel film because it's a family. Family
babysitter. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so so if they're gonna go into that more violent, more realistic realm, then they're gonna have to do it slowly because because these kids who grew up on the whole Marvel, now they're getting older. So what they need to do is start pushing them along this way because they're going to want to see more violence anyway. You
Well,
know,
they're taking the year off pretty much. I think the only live action film that's coming out from Marvel is Deadpool 3. The only other TV show that's coming out, I think, is Agatha,
yeah.
maybe, if unless it got pushed to next year.
Or are they just
But
going to regroup and try to?
well, yeah, they're taking the year off. They realize
Well,
because of
they've
the
got
strike.
enough stuff out there. It's not like
Well,
Well, what they got to do is, unlike Star Wars, for some reason they always kind of keep the teenager in mind.
Yeah,
Right.
And then what's that done is kind of stagnated Star Wars, really,
Yeah.
in a way. So what Marvel's got to do is they got to realize that all the teenagers who are into Marvel are now in their 20s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they need to move them forward, but at the same time, the parents who, in their mind, the world hasn't moved on.
Yeah.
So they think that Marvel is a brand of, family friendly. So they got to make sure the family that's slightly behind this generation can, so that they got to kind of get them on board slowly but surely and realize that, okay, these are children's films. So that's why they look for the next family oriented thing to move
That makes
forward.
sense, though. That makes sense.
They're moving. I mean, they're going to be transitioning eventually into Fantastic Four, into X-Men. That's where we're going. They're slowly, wading into that pool and all
Yeah.
that stuff because I think they realize the Avengers, certain characters, they're going to be moving on. The actors are going to be moving on. We'll have maybe new people in the roles, maybe some people sticking around, but the main focus is going to be X-Men, Fantastic Four. Let's stay in this pool. Let's start it where it's the same
It might be
universe,
better
same thing,
for them.
but new toys to play with. And
Well,
I
it's a
think
bit
that's
like,
where they're
it's a bit
going.
like the Fantastic Four will be for the family set, and then the
Right.
Yeah.
will be for the people who have moved forward with the Marvel. It's a bit like DC with Shazam. Shazam is very well rooted.
I'd say
in
that Deadpool is definitely for adults.
It is for adults, yeah.
Yeah, it's for adults.
I would.
And it's a perfect time for it to come out because it's if there was ever a time to take the piss out of Marvel, it's now because everybody's tired of it and then it's formulaic. Everybody's calling it out. It's the perfect time for a character like Deadpool.
What
to
did
be
they
like,
just
all right,
get greedy? I mean, because
yes, Bob Chapek got greedy and he used it was quantity over quality. And
But
he just oversaturated his market.
You can say that about the Star Wars franchise as well.
Yeah,
And the
same.
thing is, and the only time that Star Wars actually stepped into adult territories with the Mandalorian.
Andor.
Yeah, and Andor. And then,
Andor,
but if you look at everything else, even like the films that are coming out, they're very.
But it really wasn't that adult stepping into. I didn't see anything that off in The Mandalorian.
No,
And the
but
Mandalorian-
but I'm talking about the stories are a lot more intricate.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were
I'm
more
talking about
succinct.
I'm not saying you have to have a lot of violence or stuff like that,
No,
but you
I
have
know
a
what you're
lot
saying.
more
I get
adult
ya.
themed things that adults would understand more than your
Yeah.
average
I got you.
younger
Okay.
person. And so they were able to do that. And of course they did that with the help of the child, which
Then a
kind
lot of us were 12 years old watching Star Wars, and then we grew up with Star Wars. And a lot of us would associate more with The Mandalorian, probably too.
But if
Well,
you look
The
at
Mandalorian, it's
if you look at the
solid
Star
show.
Wars film series itself, I mean, I think the reason why, like, you have the original, and then you have the prequel, and then you have
Right.
after that, and you look at it, and the thing is, they're very, very firmly stuck in this teenage man-child thing at the moment, and
Yeah.
that's not good or bad, but the problem basically is that
It
when you
is.
get to the latter parts, the problem basically is when you got Han Solo and Princess Leia and Luke coming back into these kind of franchises and stuff like this. The thing is that they haven't matured them, or they may have aged
Yeah.
them as far as the face goes, but their storylines haven't moved to the
Matured.
maturity. There's kind of this kind of weird maturity thing that they haven't quite gotten to their. They're not middle-aged people. They're kind of
Yeah.
middle-aged people still being teenagers, which kind of creates this kind of weird. And what Star Wars probably should have done really is that once they got past the Luke Skywalker storyline and that sort of stuff, they should have kind of took their audience. By that time, they would have been in their 20s or 30s, and then the 40s to 50-year-olds as well. And they should have moved them forward like that, but they didn't. They kind of started repeating the same format
Well,
again.
They
All I know
just
is they
announced.
broke my heart when Adam Driver killed Han Solo. Okay, are you gonna no? They killed him in Solo. I was like, no.
They just
Oh,
announced
God.
a Mandalorian Grogu movie. At the same time, they
I saw that advertised.
announced the director for the new to start off the Rey Skywalker franchise,
Right.
which is going to be completely separate from everything.
Everybody's bitching about that already too.
I don't give it. I don't care one way or the other.
I haven't read the particulars.
My issue is I genuinely like The Mandalorian as a show.
I love the
I'm wondering, are they going to cancel it and just in the movies the send off? Because
Pedro Pascal's not coming back, is he? So that might be
he's at this point he's just doing voice work. Well, he's not the guy in the suit, except for most of the times it's somebody else. He's just doing voice work.
I mean, have any of the Spider-Mans been in the suit?
When they take the mask. I mean, when they take the mask off and stuff like that.
But when they're swinging around and doing all that work, it's like, is there who's actually?
But it's one of those things where his character plays somebody who does not want to religiously does not want to take his helmet off. So he as an actor is like, no, I want to take my helmet off, so I can emote and act, and that's been a rumored source of conflict for years, and the reason why all these rumors started coming out that he was quitting at the end of season 2, and that
he'd already taken off his helmet.
Well, that was the thing. The first few episodes of season 3 are him basically going back to Mandalore, dipping himself, bathing in the mythic waters to atone for his sin, and then he can put his helmet back on and be accepted. So, I mean, that whole season felt from what was it? Boba Fett episode 4 or episode 5 on. It felt like everything we wanted to do for multiple shows got fucked up because Gina Carano got fired. And we have to merge everything together in that, because the last 3 episodes of Boba Fett are Mandalorian 2.5. We sped through the entire Jedi training and of him. We got the little quick fanboy moment of Ahsoka and Luke together, and then the next thing you know, Grogu. By the end of the next 3 episodes, Boba Fett is now the new Jabba. Oh, by the way, this is his show, in case you forgot. And Mandalorian is back with Grogu, and they got their cool ship, and they're gonna go save the day and go on wacky adventures and all that stuff. And he didn't give a shit. And he didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, another thing is Pedro Pascal needs to be careful, because the Last of Us sticks very close to the computer game.
Yeah.
Now the question basically is that if you're a fan of the computer game, his character doesn't make it.
Well, that's the thing. They've already started talking about ways around that with a possible Nick Offerman spin-off series. Because that episode was so beloved, which it is. It's amazing. I love that episode. But because that episode it spans over the course of 20 years, and it tells a story over the course of 20 years, they could do a spin-off series, tell a completely separate story of Nick Offerman's Bill and his life, and you could dip in Pedro Pascal sporadically throughout that if you wanted to.
But at the same time, he will not be the main character, though.
He won't be the main character, but you could still promote the series. Hey, look, hey, Pedro's back. Hey, you can get your Joel fix for all you who hate us now because of what we did to Joel. So that's what. But saying that would pay. Whether Pedro was in the costume or not. Yeah.
I really don't think the show would work without him, because his talking and stuff,
his presentation is what makes
it was fantastic. I mean,
there's very few people that can emote with a helmet on. Carl Urban, a few others, but
and even if he's just doing the voiceover in post production and he's not on the set at the same time, I don't know if anyone could have done what he did, because he was phenomenal. Because
he's excellent at it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was quite disappointed when he took the helmet off, because in my mind he was I mean, he's a nice looking guy, don't get me wrong,
right?
But in my mind, he was like God of men looking, But when he took it off, I was like, oh,
just a dude. Well, especially when he did have it.
I still think he hangs the moon. I think he's hot.
Well, I think he does, but but the thing is, you don't know what you just didn't know. We know who Pedro Pascal is now, but when Pedro Pascal did The Mandalorian, he was in Game of Thrones and he's done bits and pieces. Don't get me wrong.
I honestly didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what he was going to look like, because I forgot he was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but I'm saying he wasn't a name that you heard. Just like he kind of knew the name, but he wasn't one that's like his his face came in front of your face and you heard the name.
Yeah.
So when you're watching it, the thing is like your vision of who's who this person is was in a way when he did take it off, it kind of let you down slightly, and it has nothing to do with the way Pedro looks. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
You guys kept up with Halo at all? The show, the series?
I've not seen a single episode.
I was just wondering if they were
I've
going to
seen-
uncloak Master Chief eventually, and we get to see what he looks like. But
Well, the problem with Halo, the show, basically is that I watched the first 3 episodes, but unfortunately, they kind of added this. The thing about Halo is that the Master Chief works on his own.
right.
He is a lone figure that and goes on his, goes on his journey. They kind of gave him like this, female sidekicky situation where he's trying to save these people, and it kind of takes away from what Halo is. Halo is this, and the thing is, Master Chief has no feelings towards those around him. He's not there to save. He's there to
But
save
he has
mankind,
feelings in the
but he's not there.
series.
He's not there to save individuals. He's there to save mankind as a whole, not
Right.
get involved in people's struggles.
Right.
So,
But he did.
yeah. But
Right.
saying that, I'm very keen on seeing Fallout when that comes out, because that's from the people who did Westworld.
Oh,
That does
no
intrigue
shit.
me. That one does intrigue me. I
And-
hope
and
it could go
Walter
one of
Goggins.
2 ways though, because Jonathan Nolan, he has great premises, but sometimes sticking the landing is a little difficult for him. So
Yeah.
hopefully it has legs.
I think I got good hope for it, because I like the idea that they went for a cat. There's only one cast member who anyone knows, and that's Walter Goggins.
Oh yeah, Walton Goggins. I like
and,
Walton a lot.
and he's not a huge name actually, unless you were a big fan of The Shield. But and I was as well. Brilliant
I
show.
love The Shield.
But he
Shield was
hasn't
brilliant.
but he hasn't really, he hasn't really like been this person who like takes over a show, situation. So I think, and because everyone else is kind of relatively unknown, I'm thinking that they might be able to do fantastic stuff with it because of that. So, and there's no way that Walter Goggins can stop being a zombie character anyway. So we don't have to worry about him looking human again unless they do a flashback.
Yeah.
So, but he kind of looks like a zombie normally anyway without the mecha. So I mean, so that looks hopeful. So who knows? But I think Halo. I think Paramount got Halo, and I think they kind of ran with it without knowing the source material. A bit like people who ever take the source material of Resident Evil and kind of run with it without actually loving the source material that they're working from.
Yeah.
Or Tomb Raider's the same thing. Tomb Raider never really.
The last
series.
movie was the only one that came close to the games, and
that was fun. I enjoyed that actually.
I liked it a lot actually. I heard they might be doing a sequel to, which I hope, because it followed the newest trilogy pretty well.
And
so.
she was brilliant as well.
Yeah,
she's a lot better than Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie was nothing against her, and she looked the part, but
she did look the part, but
too old for the part.
You thought she was too old for the part?
Well, 40-year-old Tomb Raider.
She doesn't look 40. I'm sorry.
That's
She doesn't look
She
40,
doesn't
but she's
look
in her 30s. And the
great.
thing about Tomb Raider, she's 20.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, she did great. I mean, they were okay. Don't get me wrong. They were that
Are
product.
they making another one? Did they make another
They
one?
might be making. I heard it didn't do. The first one didn't do well, but I've heard talk that they might be. I know that they're doing a series. Woman. What's her name? The woman from the Fleabag. What the hell? She's going to be doing that as a series. So I think after the indie run and she didn't get a spin-off series, there was a lot of talk.
Okay.
She moved on to Tomb Raider. So I think that she's going to be producing and writing that series.
And to be honest, Tomb Raider has worked better when they've had women at the helm of the story.
Absolutely.
When they had men, I mean, there's a really good documentary on YouTube about Tomb Raider and the history of Tomb Raider.
Oh, really?
And about the people who worked on it. And the thing is, and then the early stages of Tomb Raider is that basically her boobs got bigger, and that's pretty much it. And then
that's what I remember.
She became a sex symbol and became this merchandising sex symbol.
The video game magazines and her being scantily clad with all the pixels and all that. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, she was selling products as well, like Lucas, everything like that. I mean, and you know, she took gaming and brought it into the mainstream. But you know, and then there was a lot of failed games that they didn't know what the fuck to do with her. And then of course the new trilogy came out, and where they kind of reinvented her and made her more human. And but at the same time, they had women write her story and write her scripts, and that's why you have what we have now.
It became funny because Uncharted became a Tomb Raider clone, and then Tomb Raider became an Uncharted clone, and then Uncharted became a Tomb Raider clone. And it keeps going back and forth at this point.
But I mean, if you look at the first reboot of Tomb Raider, and this part where, you know, where she becomes Tomb Raider, and the part where she almost gets raped, and you know, and it deals with those kind of issues, and it's like, and it's the first time. I mean, you know, computer games have, you know, kind of touched on that, but they kind of really went into that, and the remorsefulness when she has to do her first kill and everything like that.
Yeah,
and it really set the game up, you know. You know, and then the sequels to, you know, were the last one felt a little bit rushed, but the themes are really, really well done. So if they're keeping women involved in the franchise as far as live action is concerned, I'm promised when they get the woman from Fleabag and women writers for that, I think you might have a huge hit on your hands.
Yeah.
You know, pandering to the women cause without hitting you over the head with it. So
tastefully, respectfully, that's what they like.
Yeah. And
so you can kill anybody as long as you do it with taste and respect. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So what about yourself, Vix? What have you been up to?
Yeah, not as much as you guys been, obviously. I've just been doing things, what do you call it? Bits and bobs, don't you? Not watching too much. I did watch The Lady in Black, the old Lady in Black. I was texting you when I watched that. Oh, yeah. And then I watched the new one, because I never watched the new one, but I don't remember the old one. I thought the old one scared the bejesus out of me more than the new one. I just don't like scary faces, like the jump scare thing. I thought it was well done. I just like it old scared like one.
Well, the old one's more suggestive, where the new one's more show you.
Yeah. It kind of gets in your face a little more. I mean, I enjoyed both of them. I did watch Rebel Moon. It looked like they were setting that up for a second one. I'm sure Joe will be all over it.
They are setting it up. The sequel comes out in March, I think.
Joe can hardly contain himself.
He will not watch. He will not watch it. I've not even watched it. And I'm more forgiving.
It was on. It was on.
The problem is Snyder has played his hand too many times. He releases a movie, and then which is a shoddy edited piece of shit. And then he said, "Don't worry. There's a better version of it coming out later with 40 more minutes that's actually coherent."
I honestly can't believe, though, that he actually released it.
I was jerk off. I know that there's a director's cut coming, so
there was a lot wrong with it. There was the continuity was a problem.
Well, I mean, I love Seven Samurai. I love Star Wars. I love all Dune. I love all these different movies. I don't like them all together, but hey,
I was intrigued with the actress because I saw her the first time when they redid The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Yeah. And I thought she was kind of interesting.
Oh, no, she's good. She's good. I like her.
She's a good little actress, and she's in this, and that's why I got caught up watching it, because there's just something about her that's fun to watch. I haven't been able to figure it out yet.
I love that
she's just got one of those faces. But we'll see what happens in March. I didn't hate it completely. I
saw the preview, and I just saw the one space Nazi, and he's wearing like the full on SS.
You know what? It had so many nods to so many movies. I couldn't even tell you. I mean, literally, movie here.
With left to his own devices, Zack Snyder is utter trash. Utter trash.
What I don't understand about Zack Snyder, and this is like, because I remember like in 2000, they passed a thing through that basically, because people were like releasing their CDs, and they were coming up with like multiple versions of their CDs, and then they said, you can't do this anymore. You're ripping people off.
Right.
They kind of need to do that with him because it's like you're kind of ripping people off now. Because what are you doing? It's like you're releasing something, making your money now. We want you to buy this again.
You're going to pay once to see a movie in theaters. I'm going to get a lot of heat from it, so it's not like I'm putting out something that I don't want to put out.
Why does he do it then? Why?
Because he likes to double dip. It's a double dipping thing. It's the studios need to have a movie that's under 2.5 hours so that they could get more screenings in theaters. They don't like the 3. So I'll tell you what, I'll cut my movie down to 225. It'll be an incoherent mess. I'm looking in your general direction, Batman v Superman. And it will make no fucking sense whatsoever. But don't worry, everybody. I know you hated it. There's going to be a better version that you could pay $20 and see for yourself. He did it with he's still trying to do it a third time with the Sucker Punch. I'm trying to negotiate with Warner Brothers to get my version of Sucker Punch. You already had a director's cut. It had like 15 to 20 extra minutes. It sucked. It still sucked. So nothing you could put into this. I want to get the actors back and film new scenes with them. Why?
Why would they come? They're not going to come back anyway because he ruined all their careers.
I was going to say, I have not seen Jenna Malone in anything, and I loved her. Saved is one of my favorite fucking movies.
Wow,
I have not seen her since anything.
Him, do ya?
Vanessa Hudgens had to go to Broadway.
That's the thing. A lot of people did not have a good career from that movie. They were trying their best to create something special, and it was utter trash. So
even Watchmen's a mess. The Watchmen movie was a mess.
The director's cut is good. I saw it in IMAX.
And then they stopped it though. You got 6 episodes, niente after that.
No, not the show.
The film. It started off as a film.
Yeah.
It started off as a film.
The TV show is a sequel to the comic book. The TV show is a sequel.
Okay. I knew it was a comic book, but I thought
the Watchmen movie. He had a fantastic cast. I mean, he had Billy Crudup and Patrick.
Jackie Earle Haley as Rorschach is fucking amazing casting.
I went to the movie.
I can't see anybody else with that.
And saw it.
I saw it in IMAX.
And outside of Billy Crudup's male phallus flopping face in 3D.
That big blue dick is burned into my head from seeing that in IMAX. It slaps you right in the face when you sit down. You can't really avoid it.
Yeah. But you're watching it and it's just like they have a nice look to them. Don't get me wrong. But they're just
gorgeous looking movies. He makes very pretty music videos. I tell everybody he's a great music video director. Yeah. He is not a very good director. He's a piss poor editor. That's my thing about Zack Snyder.
Why don't you just give him an Oscar-winning editor to edit this stuff together?
That's what he needs. He needs somebody to cut
Did y'all keep up with Monarch? I finished the last episode before.
I bailed after the second.
You bailed?
Yeah.
I hung in there. I'm gonna try to get a season 2 shot. I'm gonna try. The it was a little more promising the finale episode, so we'll see. Anyway, but other than that, we're getting ready for storms and ice and cold and snow. What about you?
Today was my last day at work. I had my leaving due yesterday. I'm now organizing my shipping and starting to be packing and getting that shipped out and then getting my tickets. And then I'm bringing my cat to Dallas. So Boo's coming.
So you are bringing your cat.
Hey.
So I'm organizing that. So I got to take him.
I have a great vet.
Get that sorted. So that's good. And I have to say, the number one TV show that you should be watching is the new Fargo series.
I'm gonna watch it.
I need to watch that.
It
I hear
is
it's
the
great.
best series of Fargo. I mean, I'll
watch anything with John Hamm in it.
I heard John Hamm was great in it.
Juno Temple.
I love Juno.
She's freaking fantastic in this. And the thing is,
so you both started watching it. I gotta watch it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've been meaning to watch it.
They're coming out They're coming out one episode a week at the moment. So I mean, I thought all of it was out there.
I gotta start back.
I started watching Fargo from the beginning, so I watched season 1 because I thought, well, I haven't seen this.
Is each season different, specific?
Yes.
Each season's different. There's an interconnection that connects.
They might mention a story in the first season.
But I mean, if I started watching the new season, I won't be lost.
No,
you won't. No, you can watch them individually. Because it's quite weird because season 1 I loved, season 2 I loved, season 3 I liked. The Chris Rock one is excellently done, but it kind of lacks the quirkiness
Quirkiness.
because it's set in
Yeah.
St. Louis. It's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't have the quirkiness that the other ones had. It's still a great series. So I thought, okay, is this the direction they're going into? And then I finally got to the new season. I mean, I had to sit there and say it's one of the best things I've seen. And if I'm think of Your Next, the girl in Your Next. Think of
Oh,
that.
okay. All right. I
Because
like that.
you're looking at this weak girl, and let's just sit there and say that she's not a weak girl. So, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to give anything away because
Gotcha.
it is
Yeah.
pure utter joy. I watch it like, and that there have been moments, and Jennifer Jason Lee, fucking brilliant.
I love to see her
Oh,
make
she's
a comeback. I'm
fantastic.
so glad
Yeah.
she did. But
And
that makes me happy.
and and what I found in this, which is I haven't found any other Fargos, which I'm not to take it away from any of the other Fargos, but we have some really heartfelt moments appear out of nowhere. And it's like, I mean, I watched the last episode. I went, oh my God. I was like really touched. It's like, so that's why it's like, you know, I think they took a little bit of hiatus before they came out with us. And I think it was sometimes shows suffer. This one came back with a huge bang. And I can understand why everyone's raving about it. So highly
Good
suggest that.
deal.
Another show I would highly recommend that I finished watching is Julia season 2. About
My
Julia
father is
Child.
loving that. My
I
92-year-old
heard
father.
I sadly heard it just got canceled. I do want to check it.
Oh,
I do want. Yeah,
It's
Max has
really
been on a hatchet run, wrecking a
oh,
bunch of shows.
I mean the thing about it, I mean the first series is brilliant. I mean and the thing
Yeah.
is what you don't realize about Julia Childs is that she is the first woman television person who had a black female producer. And she chaperoned and the
Okay.
things that she did and I think the way people made fun of her and everything like this and you look at I mean I don't know how true this is to her life. I mean they turned this into a series sort of but she's phenomenal and the acting's phenomenal. In season 2, I mean David Hyde Pierce and BB Newworth and Judith Light and
who
you get
plays Julia Childs?
Sarah Lancaster. She's an
Okay.
English actor who won all these awards for a BBC series. And if you get a chance to watch, called Happy Valley.
I've heard of that. I've heard of
It
that.
ran for 3 seasons. I think it's about 8 episodes per season, and tell you something that keeps you on the edge of your seat. You're just like,
Really?
and then the thing is,
Is
it's
it
a
on
big.
BritBox?
It probably would be on BritBox. I mean, it won all. I mean, it won all the awards. It won all these European awards, and she comes from that really, and she was phenomenal in that.
I'm
Um,
always looking for something completely different. That sounds
but
completely
but it also, this also has Isabella Rossellini in it.
different. I
Julia
love
does, and she's looking older, but she's fantastic in it. And then it also has the girl who did Ex-Girlfriend, the musical on Netflix.
Oh, shoot.
I can't remember her name.
I know that. Yeah.
But she's in it. She's phenomenal. I mean, there's nothing I can say. And what I love about it is because you watch it, it's got its funny bits, it's got its heartwarming bits, but then you just walk into like this is pure joy, pure fantasticness. So, and another show I watched, which I really enjoyed, was Kaylee Cuckoo, in based on a true story. It's
Oh,
about
okay.
it's her and the guy from the Mindy Project. I can't remember his name now, so it's escaped me. But basically, they're married, and it's like he was an ex tennis pro that kind of bummed up, and she's really into serial killer podcasts and stuff like this. And a plumber, they become friends with this plumber who ends up becoming a serial killer. So they decide that they need to make money by making a serial killer podcast using a real serial killer. Very funny and very well put together. And
I
it has
heard a lot of
horror in
good
it as
things
well.
about that.
We'll
But
check
it's
that
really
out.
fun. There's only like 6 episodes, and I highly recommend that. And I've seen a couple decent little horror films on Shudder. One's called The Sacrifice Circle. Highly recommend it. Different. You think it's set at Christmas, and you think that basically these two girls are left at school over Christmas, and there's this cult going around killing people to raise a demon, and they show up at the school, but it's not what you think, and it has nice some twists and turns. And then I watched The Butchers, which is a new film, kind of like a wrong turn, where a bunch of teenagers run into these hillbillies who start
It is. No, it's like The Hills Have Eyes, more or less. Meet the other movie.
Yeah.
Meets the other one.
And I think my only problem with that basically is that none of them are really likable, and they keep doing stupid things. So it could have been.
They all deserve what they get.
Well, it's just one of those things that that because it's independent. You just kind of think that they probably could have done something different with it, which they didn't quite do. They kind of went to formula. You think they're going to do something different, then it cuts back to formula. So, but other than that, that's what I've been up to. So,
I'm pretty lame myself.
yeah. And anyway, that brings us to Batman the Animated Series, which our first episode is The Worryman. Wealthy socialite Veronica Vreeland returns from Central America bringing tiny handmade dolls for all her friends. According to native legend, once placed under a pillow, the dolls do the sleepers worrying for them. Unknown to Veronica or her guests, each of the dolls contained a tiny microchip which plants a hypnotic suggestions inside the sleeper's brains, even Bruce's. So, Vic, what's your thoughts of The Worrymen?
The Worryman. I thought this one was kind of fun, actually. I think it's funny how she's got those little dolls, and what are they, like voodoo dolls or something? Because I know you got this one with the Aztec.
They look like little Lego men
up out of nowhere.
They do look like they look like Lego men. Yeah, they do look like little
that's
tiny
what I
Lego
was
men.
thinking. They were Lego people. That's what I thought it was at first. But 92, 93, we didn't have Lego people. Well, we did have Lego people, but I got a kick out of it. I was trying to figure out. I thought that is this the one where they're in the jungle and everything else?
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you.
Were in the jungle.
Well, yeah, I think this is the one because it was kind of really beautifully animated. Maybe it was because I was stoned. I don't know. It looked really beautifully animated.
The one with the next one is more in the
next
jungle.
One, okay.
Yeah, this one.
I don't know why I got this one mixed up with that one.
Well, no, there were some because there's a Central American.
He slips away, seems Batman's costume, and
they go to
the Native American shaman.
Yeah, the shamans and everything.
This one was kind of a little helter-skelter, but it was a lot of fun. All these people get these little worry men, and they decide to put them underneath their pillow, and then Alfred puts one under Batman's pillow, which is
hoping that it will help him get some sleep and get some rest.
Yeah, hoping that it'll help him get sleep, but it just creates chaos and mayhem. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought all four of these.
The big twist of this was ruined for me due to Vudu, because I was watching it on Vudu, and it basically at the 10-minute mark or so, we find out that it's really the Mad Hatter.
The Mad Hatter, yeah, because I thought it was Scarecrow at first.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, you get these little straw dolls, maybe it is Scarecrow.
That's what I thought, because I've never seen a lot of these.
The Vudu description mentioned, I saw Mad Hat, and I'm like, oh, okay, Mad Hatter.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting. I really thought Scarecrow was coming back for this one, because like I said, these are all new to me.
It didn't really make a lot of sense, because last time we dealt with Mad Hatter, he was locked up. Now he has a passport and he's able to travel to Central America. I thought that once you got released, I thought you couldn't leave the country.
But how did he? I thought, why was he even here though? How did he get released? He's still mad as a Hatter.
I assumed he escaped. I mean, that's we've talked.
Went to Central America and then came back to America. It's like, okay.
But then he tries to get Batman, tries to get a real functioning guillotine. You know.
Wow, yes.
I want to know where he got the Aztecs henchmen. I mean, where did he find?
I know, where did they come from? I mean, they just came out.
The power of mind control. He found some tribe. He was down in Central America. He went on a spirit. Maybe he was trying to find some new psychotropic way to control people.
I think Mad Hatter became gay at some point because all these men look like Chippendale. Chippendale Aztecs, man.
They did.
So Bruce takes out, what was it, $12 million? Is that what he took out? Was it 12?
It's like $30 million. Yeah,
he
something
took out
like
$1
30
million.
million.
I mean, how could all that fit in the suitcase for one?
Well,
He must
that's
have had big
that's,
bills.
that's what Bruce said. Because how did they get all that money in that suitcase?
Look, I love the secretary. Look, I don't question what you do, Mr. Williams, but $30 million, that's a lot of money to just put it up in one briefcase. What are
And
you
then he
talking
puts it out on the windowsill.
Put it
It's
on the
like,
windowsill.
what the fuck?
It's the most Bruce Wayne thing that you could do. If you want to keep up appearances as being a
I
crazy
always love
billionaire
it when they
social,
make Bruce Wayne vulnerable, though, because it shows. I like it when he fucks up and does stupid shit. Because I like how he tries to, catch himself and then make up for whatever fuck up he had. Because
what I like about this episode is Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
When he voiced it, and the way that he said. It made it sound like, how do you put 30 million into a briefcase? Like, how it wouldn't even fit into a briefcase. And it kind of had that nuance to it, which I thought, oh, okay, only a good voice actor would be able to put that nuance.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I thought to myself, yeah, how did that all fit into a briefcase? That would be like multiple briefcases. Let's face it, 30 million would be multiple briefcases, not just one.
Oh no, but it's the symbolism all. You just open up the briefcase filled with stacks of money, 30 million. It can be whatever you want, any amount that you want nowadays. Nowadays, they open up the briefcase, it's a crypto hard drive.
And where did the secretary come? Where did he find the secretary?
She's, you know what? It's nice that we get to meet his secretary and see a little different side of it. It's not just some random. He has a secretary who's there for him.
But what I like about the secretary is she's not like what you normally see in a business world secretary. This is like she's like a receptionist at a hair salon.
Yes. I don't know what that was about either. I was going to say something, but it was the 90s. See, they were doing all the stuff. Let's see, the 80s, and then we had the 90s, which was the hangover to the 80s. So God only knows.
I loved her, but I loved her because she was just so quirky, and I thought because. If you told me that basically, if you told me the story that, basically he goes to the secretary and then I finally see it, I would have this vision of what his secretary would be. And that wasn't it, which that's what I quite like. It's kind of like, okay.
Well, then they had the Mad Hatter quoting Jabberwocky too, I mean, I don't even know where they pulled that out of. What was it? It was 1, 2, 1, 2, and through and through.
1, 2, 1, 2, through and through, the purple blade.
Snicker snack. He left it dead with its head. He went galloping back. Yeah, that's from the Jabberwocky.
I kind of worry about him in a way because C.S. Lewis didn't write a lot, did he? I mean, no, not C.S. Lewis. I mean, Lewis Carroll did not write a lot.
No.
He's gonna run out of material soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I did like there's some little twists and turns because I
didn't even want to punish like Mad Hatter though. I mean, he stole from him and he didn't want to. I guess he's a forgiving guy. So.
Well, I mean, Mad Hatter is kind of driven by his failed love, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess.
It seems to be this weird hangover from that, but
possibly.
But I did like I like the twists and turns, like where you think it's her that's taking the knee and she's at the boat.
Did you guys, one of you guys told me that when we got to the second season, there was going to be a difference with the animation?
It hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened yet, but in episode 3 that we talk about today, the Bullet for Bullock, we did have a different intro. You can start.
Yeah, I did notice that.
You're going to start to see the change. Yeah, but
I was just wondering.
Which was weird because there was the intro for the Adventures of Batman and Robin for an episode that had no.
That's why I thought I was watching the wrong thing. I was going, oh wow, what happened?
We'll get to that. We'll get to
any Robin, and there's 2 episodes from the Adventures of Batman. So,
yes, that's why I was confused. I go, oh no.
He's still in college, so
that's why I was texting you guys like, what am I watching?
Yeah, he hasn't come back for summer break, but the animation will be changing very soon. So.
And you're saying it's a money saver?
Like a baby doll and things like that.
Well, I mean, it's changing networks. It's still Warner Animation, but it's going. It was going out from Fox and Friends or Fox Kids rather to Warner Brothers.
Does Fox Kids even still exist anymore?
No Saturday morning cartoons exist anymore.
I know that's sad.
But they wanted. But I think they wanted to. I mean. we'll get to it because we get Robin going into Nightwing and stuff like this. But they wanted to go for a younger audience, and so they start playing to a younger audience eventually.
Okay.
It doesn't really take away from the storytelling too much, but there is a slight shift, and I think it also I think there's a saving money caution being taking place as well with the animation and stuff.
Gotcha.
I mean, they don't do a Hanna-Barbera where they keep repeating the background over and over, so they don't do that, but
Right.
there's some slight changes. So, our next episode is Sideshow. En route to an upstate prison, Killer Croc escapes and leads Batman on a dangerous chase through the wilderness. After throwing Batman temporarily off his trail, the reptile-man takes refuge with a group of retired circus freaks and convinces them to help him. When Batman arrives, Croc and the freak band together to capture him. So, Sean, what's your thoughts of Sideshow? And
Sideshow was one. It's one of those. Sideshow is one of those episodes that has a lot of promise to it.
It was pretty.
It was very pretty, and it started with a bang. You had Killer Croc breaking out of a prison transfer. Batman kind of probably sensing that was going to happen, already posted on the train with a fake mustache, incognito, waiting for it to happen. And as soon as it starts to go down, he jumps into action. Killer Croc gets away, and Batman gets his grappling gun taken away from him. Killer Croc climbs up a mountain, thus giving us a reason for why Batman will be out of commission for most of this episode.
Right.
He's separated from him, and he's got to climb a major hunk of mountain without any rigs, without any climbing stuff, and he's got to get his way back up there. In the meantime, Croc somehow gets washed down a waterfall and ends up with a traveling band of circus freaks.
And they think he's the king freak.
Yeah, exactly.
They think he's a nice guy.
They take him in as one of their own. And we've established in the past that Croc was working at the carnivals and all the stuff. I thought that they could have played that up more. Maybe
they could have. They would have given a
apprehension
little
to
more
wanting.
bite.
Maybe like, no, I'm aware. I'm not this. I'm not like you. I was expecting stuff like that. You didn't get as much from that, but in terms of eventually Batman wakes his way there, and all the freaks immediately band together to help Croc,
because they think he's a freak.
He's one of their own.
Tormented.
And then the second they get Batman, let's kill him. And he abandons all the goodwill that he has. Can't help it. It's a solid episode. It was great to hear Brad Garrett as Goliath. That was cool. Early voice work of Brad Garrett. I thought I dug it. I thought it was interesting design of some of the freaks. The Flipper Boy and Richard, the ringmaster character who only quotes Shakespeare. Overall, it was a Joe Beth Williams as May and June, the Siamese twins. It was a fun little episode. I dug it.
I don't know why I thought it was pretty. Like I said, I always watch these things high as a kite because they're much more fun when you're stoned, and I pay more attention, and it's entertaining, and you see more. But it was so green. It was a green episode.
Yeah,
I just thought the animation was pretty.
Yeah. And the final fight on the big wheel. That was a big water wheel.
But I mean, it was so North Pacific looking, and then it was kind of like a jungle. I mean, they kind of run the gamut with the anime. I just found it striking. It's just hit me for some reason. I don't know. Sometimes they just kind of detract from that city. Maybe because I'm used to seeing the dark of Gotham in one of these cartoons, as opposed to a Nat Geo situation. I guess I don't know. I thought it was well done.
The only complaint I would say is that when Killer Croc first comes to the Sideshow, it looks like he might be he could become a changed person, and I kind of wish they kind of played on that more. So then when Batman shows up, and so that way let's kill him, because that way Croc can be part of a family. And I kind of wish they kind of played a little bit with that a little bit more to give it a bit more emotional nuance.
I think you need more time to pass. I mean, Batman's still at the middle of the mountain. He could get there. You need like a couple of weeks of, I guess maybe cabin fever to set in before you can
Because
to
when you
that
see
point.
him, like, when you see him with Flipper Boy or Seal Boy or
I think it was either Steel Boy or Flipper Boy.
I
That's
wasn't
the
quite
thing.
because he had feet like
Flipper Boy.
steel, so
Yeah.
but
I'm
then
trying to
but
remember what the
steel
freak
feet are
sign was. Yeah.
flippers, so but when you saw the exchange between him and the boy, it's almost like, oh, he's kind of fine. He's found home. He's found a
I
family.
thought he was going to be nice too for a second, but it only lasted a second
Broke
because he was
young
a
Billy's
total
heart.
douche canoe 2 minutes
That's the
later.
thing. He just broke Billy's heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
he did.
literally.
Little Billy.
Little
But I
Billy.
thought if they had like a little, like, a little 1 minute scene or something, so that way when Batman showed up, and then the reason why Croc is going to kill Batman because Batman is ruining his chance by taking him away from having a family. So that would have been quite a nice. I mean, I still like the episode,
Yeah.
but I would like a little bit of that.
It would have been nice in hindsight to see that maybe a little humanization of
Where
Croc.
Batman kind of ruined it for him in a way, even though. So
Batman
even though
just
he is an
comes in
escaped
with
convict,
everything,
but
his
yeah.
utility belt.
Yeah, I
He
know,
fucks
but
with everybody.
well, I mean, because I always looked at Killer Croc. I mean, even though Killer Croc is a convict and he's got a murderous heart and so on and so forth, but in a way, for me,
He's a
Killer
tragic
Croc, the
figure.
reason why he's like this, is because if this happened to me, I probably would end up being a bit like that as well.
I
You know
wouldn't
what
be
I mean?
happy either if I looked like that.
Because he was like a
miserable.
normal man before whatever happened.
That would make somebody bitter, don't you think?
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
so.
100%.
So therefore, you kind of give him. For me, I always give Killer Croc a little bit more leeway than I would someone like the Penguin or someone like that. So
I think
Penguin's, the 1%er, arms runner, mob boss, fully aware of what they're doing. Even though Croc is fully aware, I mean, he's been shunned by society. Yeah, he's that tragic figure.
it's been like
Clayface.
Clayface is always a tragic figure for me as well.
Oh
So,
yeah, absolutely.
and then, Two-Face not so much. So,
but aren't they all tragic figures though?
Yeah.
I don't know if you could say Joker's
Not
a
all
figure or
Yeah,
the
I was gonna say
Riddler.
Yeah, Joker could be tragic.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but even the Riddler is not too tragic. I mean, okay, yeah, he was born ugly and a nerd, so it's like, but I mean, he was bullied, but that does that mean that you go to this extent?
The Riddler. I don't think the Riddler is that tragic of a figure. You have the Riddler, who's what should we call it? A former, depending on which iteration you take,
Right.
either a former employee who goes beyond his means and is far more is mad with his inventions, or a FBI profiler who starts committing crimes so that he could solve himself to make himself more to further himself in his career. I mean, either way, pretty highly functioning psychopath as far as I'm concerned. Either way,
and Scarecrow's the same way. He's not pathetic, I mean, Poison Ivy in a way is because I understand her goals and I understand her wanting
Harley
the
Quinn.
planet.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn is.
She used to be smart and normal.
Well, yeah, I mean, Harley Quinn's storyline when that comes out, but the thing is it's kind of the product of an abusive relationship, which well, I mean, when we get to the article where they actually talk more about her origin story and stuff like this, which will be coming up, it's kind of a weird pill to take, really, with her.
Yeah.
So it's like, because it's kind of like this girl who's kind of caught in this abusive cycle, really. So it's it works, but at the same time, I think, when without going too far into the future, I just remember watching Harley Quinn and really loving the character. But then once I get to that episode, which we'll cover later in the year, is it kind of changed my thought about her to something kind of pathetic. She went from someone being quite fun to some kind of a pathetic, sad character to me after that episode. So, but.
Well, especially when you get to her in the movies, she definitely becomes more tragic there. So.
Yeah. So. Our next episode is a Bullet for Bullock. Someone has put a hit out on Gotham's toughest cop, Harvey Bullock. After surviving several near misses, Bullock realizes he has no choice but to reluctantly ask Batman to help him discover who is behind the murder attempts. During an investigation, Bullock learns that this gruff and mean-spirited manner has created enemies in the unlikeliest of people. I'll take this one. I love seeing Bullock. I like the Bullock storyline.
Nasty human being he is. Does that guy even clean his house or his armpits for that matter at this point? I mean,
roaches scatter when he walks into his home.
It just really gets into how he lives. I mean, it just shows all about Bullock. It just cracked me up.
This was a very Bullock-centric episode.
Yeah. And I like that about it. But I didn't like the twist in it too much. The twist was kind of weird. It's like
with the Dean Rooney was the
kind of like this. Well, the thing is, you kind of got this mean-spirited cop. But the thing is, he is by the book, and though he has to twist the book a little bit to get these, hardened criminals to justice, because obviously the justice system seems to be broken in Gotham. So I kind of understand it, and I like that about him. And it's a bit like watching Kojak or or any of those 70s cop shows that you used to get. There's slightly crookedness to get them to justice.
Yeah.
And then going after the guy and then you kind of find out it's over rent. These areas identified. So it's like
that was a weird twist. I wasn't expecting that at all.
I was only just because I recognized the actor's voice immediately. As soon as I heard, I'm like, oh, that's Jeffrey Jones. That's probably the killer. That was immediately my brain went. I'm like, yeah, it's Jeffrey Jones.
I just got a kick out of it because the cockroaches in the building.
The roaches scatter when he walks into his apartment,
and it doesn't faze him. I would need therapy. I mean, seriously.
But but the thing is, if you look at probably, I think the way he dresses that way is because he probably doesn't get paid a lot.
No,
well, he's a cop. No.
He probably inherited the apartment. It's probably the one thing he has going for him. He's letting it completely fall apart inside. Roaches are infesting it. He doesn't care. It's a representation of who he is.
Hates him.
The landlord hates him because he's trekking in mud, and he's just like, "Look, I could knock you. I could get you out of here. I could renovate the apartment and make a mint. But instead, your slovenly ass keeps walking in here and mucking up the place, and you're an asshole to boot."
The episode's hysterical because he has to rely on Batman, and he doesn't like Batman.
And he said, "Look, I think you're a freak, and that's your good qualities."
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is Batman and Harvey Bullock are kind of cut from the same coin.
No, that's the thing. And he even says, "Like, you're not so different, you and I. We both get. Look, I'm not dirty. I'm not on the take. I just cut corners here and there. Occasionally you plant some evidence for a guilty person. He's not that. To be fair, he isn't really different than Batman.
That's the funny part about it is you can relate to Bullock.
I like Bullock. There's also this episode. He was not eating. He could barely sip on a cup of coffee, but he was not eating in this. So he's not doing.
He wasn't eating, was he? Now that
that's how you know he was nervous. He could barely drink his cup of coffee. That's how scared he was. He could.
But another thing I like about Bullock. But another thing I like about Bullock is that there is. What this episode shows is that you're dealing with a cop that basically his flat is not where he lives. He lives at the police station. This is where he sleeps and has to take a shower every once in a while. That's it. That's he doesn't sit around the house on his day off.
I bet you he doesn't do laundry either.
I bet he does, but the thing is, I bet he doesn't have a day off.
That's probably the thing in Gotham. Why would you? You're a cop in Gotham.
Yeah, and that's his career. That's his career. That's his life. That is his wife. That's his mistress. His job is his wife.
Yeah.
Some people are married to their jobs. I've known hardcore people that's their life. Their job is their life,
and this what kind of gives me that, appreciation of Bullock as well because of that. He is dedicated. Yeah, sometimes his dedication might be geared in the wrong direction, but it comes from a place of good,
Yeah.
Well, he's a good cop. He's not a dirty cop. He's dirty, but he's just not a dirty cop.
Yeah.
He's dirty Harry. Yeah, he's dirty Harry. He's just like, look, I'll do what it takes to get a conviction, to get you to get an arrest.
Well, he doesn't. He really does go after the bad guy. He truly does want to get the bad guy.
And the way Gotham's corrupt.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Gotham,
and you have to cut corners in order to get these people to justice. I mean, God forbid. I mean, look at all this shit the villains do in this, and they don't even get locked up for life.
Yeah.
They don't get locked.
Then we wouldn't have any more shows. They have to.
We would have a show at that point.
But I mean, but that's what that seems. This is what seems. I mean, even if you look at the film series of Batman or I mean, it seems to be like a very corrupt city underneath it all.
Well, it's so dark. I mean, have you ever seen the sunshine on Gotham?
I
do not remember seeing the sun ever.
That's because Superman stole it from Metropolis. Only Metropolis has sun.
Metropolis has sun.
They do.
That's where all the sun is. You take it away from Gotham.
It's on that. It's on the other side of the river. That's where it is.
Okay, that's how they work it. Okay, I was wondering how that worked. Okay.
If Batman was wise, he'd just fill Gotham full of kryptonite.
Batman doesn't need the sun to live. Superman needs it to live, so he takes all the sun. That's how it works.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's weak. He has no energy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. He needs the sun. Yeah.
Our last episode is Gotham. It's called Trial. And Gotham's deadliest criminals, the Joker, Two-Face, Mad Hatter, the Ventriloquist, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, among many others, kidnap Batman and put him on trial in Arkham Asylum. The Dark Knight's only hope rests with District Attorney Janet Van Dorn, who, despite her anti-Batman stance, is forced to defend the Caped Crusader's life as well as her own. So, Sean, what are your thoughts of Trial?
This was absurd fun. I loved it.
It was.
I absolutely loved this episode.
I concur.
It was interesting because I was wondering how we were going to get to that point. We started at the beginning with the district attorney, this newly appointed district attorney, Janet Van Dorn, is taking what's it called? Poison Ivy back to Arkham. You get to see all the usual row of villains. How you doing, How you doing, Ivy? Good to see you. See Harley's there. See the Mad Hatter there. You get to see everybody, and you could tell something's different about this. They had something planned out, and what they have planned out is they're gonna kidnap Batman and put him on trial for all of his misdeeds in Arkham. And Harley and Ivy are the ones to take him down, which I kind of liked. I thought that was a nice touch. Them working together to take down Batman. And Batman is put on trial, and the new district attorney, who does not like Batman, thinks Batman is a menace that has created the majority of the problems in Gotham. Spoiler notes, she's right. But
she is, because I've been facing. I mean,
that's the thing. I'm like, she's absolutely right with this. He is creating.
That's what I was saying about the last episode. Because it is kind of his fault we have all these villains.
Yeah, no, he is. I mean, that's the reason why everybody decides, no, it's no biggie if I could dress up. If the heroes could dress up to save the day, so can the villains.
That's right.
Which is quite funny because that sentiment is what leads to Christopher Nolan's Batmans.
Yes. And that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot in this because I had always heard that in The Dark Knight Rises, one of the original ideas was the kangaroo court that they had in it with, but instead of the Scarecrow, it was going to be Heath Ledger. I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard a billion different things. I've heard the Hannibal Lecter scene that we kind of got in the deleted scene.
So
of
much
the Batman,
happened back then.
but it was going to be what we had. In the novelization version, he's in it's left as he's in the deepest, darkest cell of Arkham. Maybe he's not there. We hear faint laughter coming from that region. So that's all we know about that. That's all that's like left in terms of what would happen.
Don't you think Arkham is like day camp for crazy criminals, though?
It can
come and go. They just come and go as they just break out whatever they want.
But Arkham is kind of a weird place because whether you're playing in the computer game series Or even looking at, I mean, you don't even really get Arkham in the computer game series and the
No.
animated series.
Yeah.
But it's very Victorian the way that it's all set up. It's like this, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like a third world prison in a weird way. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a modern day prison. I mean, and the thing is, there's no modern technology in this prison whatsoever either. It's kind of like this
Very
old
little.
Victorian.
Very, very
I
little.
mean, you
Yeah.
can picture Jean Valjean being in there before he breaks, you know, before stealing that loaf of bread. Is
You
that
play
kind
the
of feel to it?
Yeah. When you
Very
play the
odd.
game, I mean, you have the mansion, the master mansion, which is kind of like the hub for for the warden and for certain high end people. But then you have like, okay, this is uh the part where Ivy will live. It's more of a uh, uh I forget what they call it, but basically a place for
Conservatory.
it's a conservatory. Excuse me. Yeah. You have the maximum security ward. You have the high, the high, this is where the high value prisoners are. This is where, and they have like different sections of the island. But this, it's pretty much just, we have a couple of cells, a couple of different cell blocks, a corridor hall. And it's not, they don't really go into it that much. It's very bare
It's so
minimal
against
attack.
code as well. I mean,
Yeah,
if this was a real
absolutely.
place, there's no way this would be health and safety concerns.
Ooh. But it's a solid episode, and I like the fact that even though everybody hates, it's a very impartial jury who are also witnesses for the prosecution at the same time. But the
Yeah,
district
right.
attorney is so good at her job, she has managed to convince all the people who want Batman dead that he did not create them and that they are crazy themselves, and they find him not guilty, which is both hilarious and absurd at the same time.
But
I
don't
love
you
it.
think that they would miss Batman? He
Oh,
seems like
that's the thing. They need each other.
it
At the
seems
end of
like
the
he's the
day,
catalyst to their very existence, you know?
I love the little interaction between Harley and Joker. She's like,
Yeah.
it's just like I think that she might be an impartial witness. She's laying on the judge is laying on her lap, and just like
Yeah.
she's playing with the Joker's hair or his wig rather. It's
It was great.
there's some funny shit in there. I do like it a lot. I thought that it was a solid episode, and
Kind of
uh,
remind me a little bit of the Lego Batman movie.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of it's just a wacky episode filled with a lot of fun. So yeah, I liked it a lot.
The only downfall I could say is that I kind of wish that I'm not quite sure how they record these or how they record the voice actors, but sometimes when you get like all the villains and stuff like this, it'd be nice if they had, each one had like a word or two or a sentence or something to say because it kind of reminds me of Batman Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I mean, not Batman, but Beneath the Planet of the Apes. You know, when they had like the monkey course and you can just see these monkeys with the people with just monkey mask on with
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and it kind of reminds me of like, oh, they just drawn them in there, but they really it's like but the person behind the drawing is not there. And so I kind of wish, because you do see Mad Hatter and you do see Scarecrow, but they don't say anything.
no,
And I didn't know Stephanie Zimbalist was in on this one. And I also had no idea that Roddy McDowell was the Mad Hatter up until 2 minutes ago.
Oh, I love Rod. I mean, that's the reason
Oh, yeah,
I love
Roddy's
love
great.
him.
Roddy McDowell. So
you got George Dzunda as ventriloquist and Scarface. You're bringing back that, so I got my Scarface fixin'.
yeah,
It was a very fun episode. You got a great callback with Killer Croc and him with a rock, so which was which was a nice touch. Yeah, I overall just a really fun episode, and it more like this would be welcome. I think at the end of the day, I think we said in the last episode or the last show that we did that the more wacky out there episodes, those are usually the most fun to go with, and this kind of proved it.
the only thing I can say about these last two episodes is that we're now into the new adventures of Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
And I kind of feel that these two episodes are leftovers from the previous season because,
yeah,
I mean, I'm nothing against these episodes whatsoever because these two episodes are very, very strong. And I can't say anything negative about the episodes themselves.
This one was chaotic, but they pulled it together though.
But
yeah.
but the thing,
Absolutely.
what's weird though is the opening credits, you have the new Adventures of Batman and Robin. You have the new opening credits.
That confused me for a second.
And then you got these 2 episodes that are part of this. It's like this doesn't give the promise of what the new Adventures of Batman. I mean, to be honest, these are better than what we're being promised anyway. But it's kind of like, so I kind of wondered, like, when they remarket this as the new Adventures of Batman and Robin, and people are really excited about seeing more Robin, and these are the first 2 episodes they're seeing. I'm thinking to myself, I was like, this is kind of risky, really.
Yeah.
Because these actually felt like they were part of the previous season, but they ran out of episodes for that season, or they had too many episodes for that season, so they carried these over to this season with the remarketing. So that's the only thing I would say that sets it a bit like, okay, what are you doing here? So, but saying that, the episodes are brilliant. But I just kind of wonder how people who were expecting the new Adventures of Batman and Robin reacted to these first 2 episodes of this new season.
Yeah.
So this is in essence now the new Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Batman and Robin, yeah, essentially.
Okay,
it's no longer
it's no longer
just the Batman
over to a different kind of scenario, basically, for the next season.
It's a continuation of the same story, but the style of animation's different. They're going to be more
a little different. Well,
yeah, everything's going to be different.
It's going to start getting even more drastic, because what we're going to get is basically the season of Robin's discontent.
Oh, I've heard of that. I have not seen it though.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting.
It carries off throughout the whole season, because what we're going to see is Robin become Nightwing.
And okay.
And then we're going to get a new Robin. A new Robin's going to come in, who's going to be a bit more Teen Titans Go Robin than what we've previously seen, I guess is the best way to say it.
He's going to be an angsty, spoiled brat. Is a better way to put it. An angsty, spoiled brat.
Is he more manly man, strong, standing on his feet without the Batman? Kind of.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a very I mean, if you watch the TV series Titans, he's going to be more along that lines of Nightwing, which is he's a fantastic character. To be honest, when Robin becomes Nightwing, Robin comes into his own, and he becomes a lot more mature, and it becomes a lot more darker and flourished, because Robin is a little bit more violent and a little bit let's just sit there and say that his techniques are not to Batman's code, which makes him a lot more interesting. But I mean, Nightwing kind of becomes like this kind of character, kind of pops in and out situation, a bit like Robin in the so far that we've seen. But the new Robin that comes in is Tim Drake, isn't it?
Jason Todd is the second.
Jason Todd, and
Jason Todd does him.
Yeah, the Jason Todd that we see in the animated series that will start coming through is kind of more of a. Do you know when you used to watch TV shows and the kids started growing up, and then it would bring this younger child in? Like Oliver from like Brady Bunch.
They had.
He's cousin Oliver. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Every show had a younger kid. You are right.
He's 7. He's 7.
Like Albert and Little House on the Prairie.
Little House on the Prairie. You had eight is enough. They had the extra little kid there.
Yeah. And it becomes that way. And the thing is there. I mean, the episodes are good. I mean, I don't want to take away from the episodes, but when you compare them to what we've seen previously, you kind of get Batman playing daddy.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get Batgirl showing up playing surrogate mommy. So you kind of get this. I mean, we'll get to them, but
please tell me that's not the dynamic we're going for. That just sounds heinous.
Well, I mean, luckily, I think
babysitting.
I think if the animated series kept going forward, I think we probably would. Well, we probably would.
Hardly 19, 20 years old herself.
Well, no, I mean, no, I'm saying that it doesn't. The what you have is Robin and Batgirl, so you have this kind of back and forth with them,
right?
Because in the way Batgirl stealing Robin's limelight. But yeah, at the same time, they're kind of attracted. So you kind of got this Catwoman Batman thing going on with Batgirl and Robin. So you kind of get
Right.
that. But then when Robin becomes Nightwing, Batgirl really doesn't have that much to do with him, really, too much.
Okay, okay.
But because they bring her in as more of a main character with the Robin, so what you got, so she's kind of like the bigger sister situation.
Okay, I got you.
But I do feel that if Batman carried on, that there is a point where that we don't see in the animated series that does take place in the comic book series, which this kind of jumps from that to that, where Barbara Gordon kind of has an affair with Batman. So
Do they?
there's a little bit of.
Well, I was wondering if there was any romance, kind of, sorta, of any kind.
It's something that they kind of touched in went in a direction, but kind of went away from it really quickly.
Okay.
So when you're watching that, when we get to the later episodes, they kind of flirt with that, but they don't quite get there. So
Because I know we had a thing for Catwoman in any production. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is, it is the 90s, and we've had dealt with a generation where we have 50-year-old men chasing after 20-year-old women, or being married to them in films and television series up until this point anyway. But,
yeah, that's true.
but now that we're in, now we're in the, we've now hit the Me Too and all the other stuff that we've been through in the last it's 5 to 8 years. So it's gonna feel a bit weird now. So
Yeah.
it probably didn't at the time. Let's put it that way. So but on that note, I guess we should just ask what's our favorite episode. I don't think there's any least favorite, so we'll just say what is our ultimate favorite episode of these four, starting with you, Vicky.
The ultimate, I would have to say, it would be the I really enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed the little doll thing. I don't know why. I just liked the mayhem and the anthropological tone that went with it. I thought it was really cute. But all of them were strong episodes. I wouldn't say that the second one was as tight as the others, but they were all really good. I mean, I have no complaints. I enjoyed all of these immensely.
And what about yourself, Sean?
I'd probably say Trial was my favorite, just because of the
That was a
wackiness
good
of
one,
everything,
too.
and everybody. It's
So
just
hard to
everybody
pick a
let loose in
favorite.
Arkham. A lot of callbacks, a lot of fun. Bullet for Bullock gets a second honorable mention, just because it was a Bullock centric episode, and we don't usually get
We don't
ones
get a
where.
lot of Bullock like that. That
Yeah.
was pure, raw, unadulterated Bullock.
So for that alone, it was nice to kind of have that a little offshoot of what we normally get, and just have some focus on Bullock.
I'm gonna say Bullet for Bullock was my favorite, only because I love it when Batman the Animated Series takes a secondary character and brings them to the fore and starts fleshing them out. Because for me, that takes the whole universe, and they've done it with when they took all other characters that they fleshed out like this, and it makes them more keener and closer to your heart, and it makes the whole universe seem more alive. And they do it, and that's what I quite like about the animated series, and I think that's what makes it stand out from other ones, because it's not just villain of the week. They take these characters and they flesh them out very beautifully, and that's probably why. Though for fun availability and for just overall watching it and just having a smile on my face because it has everything I love about Batman, would be the Trial.
Oh yeah.
But only because, I mean, you can't go wrong. It's like buying a K-Tel record of all your favorite hits. I'll go for that. From and the 1939 classic starring Judy Garland. And of course, we'll be back next month with Batman the Animated Series. We'll be covering 4 episodes, which include Avatar, House and Garden, The Terrible Trio, and Harlequinade. So it's good night for myself. Good night, Vix.
Night, guys.
Good night, Sean.
Good night, everyone.
And we'll see you next week for the Iron Giant and Monster House.